Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for April 16th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Pooya. How you doing, Pooya?
I'm doing well, Taran. It is a great honor to talk to the most viral person on the BBCan9 hashtag. If no one knows what I'm talking about, Taran was watching the episode live last night, and his reaction to the reveal of the twist is worth 1,000 words. Go check it out on Twitter. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it was not my favorite thing.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I'm
and
truly shocked.
I was very excited. I was very excited about the HOH results. So it was a big roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, they literally built you up just to break you down in one swoop. There, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, we are here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother Canada 9 live feeds. It was day 48 in the house, and there's actually a decent amount to talk about from prior to the eviction. And then we had a bit from after the eviction. There's been a lot that's been going on this morning, which we will be able to get into tomorrow. But let's get into it. We started the day with Tina and Tara. They were talking about what Tara should do if she won HOH. What the conclusion was here, Tina ultimately says you should put up Ty and Jed, and then if the veto is used, put up Kiefer as the replacement, because they think that Beth will be willing to take a shot at one of the guys.
Yes, so that is good information. It's good information. Will it be applied? I don't know, because we can never tell with this house. But I feel like that's not a bad decision for someone like Tara, given in that position yesterday morning. I felt okay with this.
I mean, I think the problem with putting Kiefer on the block as the replacement is that if Beth does not cut the guys, then Kiefer goes. And that's not really ideal because you have left the trio in the final five and you are guaranteeing that you have to win the veto to survive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately the problem is that no matter what happens, and like the trio's still there as a threatening presence, but all the eyes are still also on Kiefer, who's not in the trio, but is like arguably called the biggest threat to win the whole way through. So it's very the dynamics with these four people is very interesting because there's a three-headed threat and then a singular threat, and then it's a matter of which side is the bigger threat to me. And if you do one, you can't do the other, which is a problem. That's what all the worries are about.
Yeah. Well, Kiefer and Ty are going to talk in the morning. This is what I talked about yesterday, that Kiefer was saying, hey, we know what the score is. We make it to the final four. We know that Beth and Jed are taking each other. But things are different now that I've been put up, Ty. I think Beth is going to try and cut us. And Ty agrees. And Kiefer says, I'm ready to make a move.
Kiefer's awake. Kiefer's awake. He's putting in the work with Ty. Taran, I'll be honest with you. If I ask you a lot of questions, it's because I need a lot of clarification lately. I can't tell what is fact and what is fiction anymore. I've literally lost the plot. I feel like unless I'm watching constantly, everything's changing in a minute. So pause. Kiefer is more loyal towards Ty or more loyal towards Jed? Because I think this is going to be important going into this week. Who would he like? Because he's talked about both, right? He's talked about both very fondly. This past week, it was a lot of talking to Jed about wanting to sit at the end with Jed. But I've also feel like he's had a better connection with Ty throughout. Where does his loyalty truly lie, specifically with those two, not like anyone else?
I believe his loyalty lies with Jed, but I also believe his loyalty doesn't count for anything.
Fair, yeah.
So he recognizes that Ty is in a position where he needs Kiefer more than Jed does, and thus he works on Ty. To see, the thing about Kiefer is that he is going to take a lot of pride in the idea that I can get the trio to turn on each other. So he is going to prey on every perceived weakness that they have, and that includes Ty, who has opened up and said, I know that Jed and Beth are taking each other, so on and so forth. In fact, when Ty says that he feels like potentially, this is a bit later in the day, potentially Jed and Beth might be turning on him, Kiefer says, Beth is, not Jed. He doesn't really want to like throw Jed under the bus. He wants to maybe evict him. He wants to maybe get Ty to turn on Beth, get Beth to turn on Ty or Jed, and get them all riled up against each other. But I don't think he has like a particular rooting interest beyond I am the greatest player to ever play this game and look at my puppets dance.
Yeah, Kiefer in a nutshell, basically, right that in there.
Yeah, I don't think he's loyal to. I mean, what you have seen from Kiefer all season long is he goes to Tina and Tara, and he rats out the trio, and he throws them under the bus, and he gets Tina and Tara to target them. He goes to the trio, and he rats out Tina and Tara, and he throws them under the bus, and he very nearly gets them to target them. And then when it actually comes down to we might target them, he's like, well, maybe not, because he wants to keep them around for a little while. So what we're going to see, I think, this week is something very similar. Kiefer's plans are going to be changing, and who knows where this will go.
Yeah, I'm excited because, again, given the makeup of this house, given that everyone's words change on a dime, everyone's wants change on a dime, it's all constant back and forth. There's a duality to it, Taran. The problem is that a lot of information becomes outdated quick because things keep changing, but then because things keep changing, they keep being exciting. So I'm okay with it, I guess, is what I'm trying to put out there.
So Beth and Tina are going to have a conversation, and this is going to be, it honestly should be enlightening to Beth. Tina says, first of all, you're making the wrong move this week for your game. I hope you realize that. It's a little late here from Tina, and I don't think that this is part of a campaign. I think she is genuinely, in the same way that she was trying to warn Kiefer that he's about to get backdoored, trying to warn Beth, like, this is just straight up the wrong call. I mean, I know I'm going, but you made a mistake. And here's how you can maybe fix that mistake. Because first of all, Kiefer's not taking you. He's taking Jed to the final two. He wants to beat the best. And even if he did take you to the final two, if you get to the final three with Kiefer and Jed, you've basically already lost. If you get to the end with either of them, you're going to have a really hard time making your case because the perception is that you have been dragged along, that you have been carried by them in this game. And if you get there with them, you're really going to have some points ready to go to explain how you played your own game. And Beth does not take this well. She is very upset about this. She goes off, talks to the camera. I can't believe Tina says that nonsense. I've done more in this house than anyone. I don't get any credit for. I never thought people would be this way. It is 2021, and for Tina to say that to me, that like as though I haven't been behind every single move, that is not okay.
We'll talk more. We will be talking more about Beth trying to take claim for every move, even if she's not the one behind it, but saying, well, technically it comes back to me. I mean, Beth is someone who she is the hero of her own narrative. I think everyone is, but she's more so than others. And I can confirm, Taran, having watched the TikTok interview last night, Tina was very much like, yeah, my bed was made. Like, this was not campaign. This was just her being like, I'm just going to be an honest friend to you right now because I have no stake in the game anymore. I was just being blunt, which, if I've learned anything, is that Beth can't take stuff like that easy at all.
Yeah. So here's what her conclusion was. What Tina essentially telling Beth, like, you need to cut some of these guys. You need to like really start making your own case. Beth's takeaway from that is, now I'm definitely taking the guys and I'm gonna beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically someone telling you, hey, don't touch that. You're like, oh, now I'm touching that. Like, now I'm going to do it.
No,
like,
it's
even
a
if
hot
it's not good for
stove,
me.
Pooya. Don't touch it.
No, but it's bright. It's shining. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to prove to you it's not that hot. You're silly for thinking it's hot. I don't care.
Yeah. Beth, I don't know who needs to be told this, but any future Big Brother player, you beat people by sending them out the door. That's how you beat people. You cut them. You don't have to sit next to them in the final two to beat them. You can also beat them by getting further in the game than them. That is another perfectly viable means of beating somebody.
You are beating them worse if you get rid of them before the final two, before they sit next to you. That would arguably be you beating them more handily. It's like beating someone 8-0 versus beating someone 2-1 at the end, like at the buzzer. So I would argue that is the better move for you, Beth and future house guests. Do that. It's better.
Yeah. So she's going to complain to Ty about what Tina said. And Ty says, well, no. This is not Tina. Tina didn't come up with this. This is Kiefer. He's trying to get in our heads and split us up. He was just talking to me earlier. Like, Kiefer has been feeding information to Tara, to Tina, and he's trying to get us to go against each other. That's what's happening.
I feel like if you're Ty, this is not a bad situation because Tina's gone. There's no reason for Beth to be mad at Tina. So Ty using this moment to channel that energy of like, listen, funnel this to other people. Don't even think about Tina. Tina's an afterthought now. I think that's a pretty good idea, especially because Beth is going to stay mad. So let her just be mad at someone else.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was like he nearly rats Kiefer out. Ty is an interesting player to me because he doesn't really give a lot of information to anybody ever. And this reminds me a lot of back in the early days of the season when he used to talk to Kiefer about how he didn't trust Beth. And even further back when he talked to Toya about not trusting Beth. That when Toya opened up to Ty about how she had suspicions about Beth, Ty was like, me too. I've also had those feelings. And it was like, whoa, what is this? Is he tricking her? Does he have genuine suspicions? I didn't know at the time. And honestly, I still don't know. Because he never mentioned it again. Ever. Because nobody ever talked to him about it again. Until now. And now all of a sudden, he was talking to Kiefer and he's like, yeah, Beth is shady. I don't know if I trust. Who is Ty? I don't know.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. That's what I'm saying about this season is the reads are hard this season. It's like I kind of just know who are the more delusional players, but then I don't have accurate reads of like, okay, this person's player card says these things about their game. It's very difficult to read these people, and it's very difficult to have like a definitive feeling on how they are doing and how they could be doing. I don't. I'm in the dark, Taran. I need a light.
Yeah, and so Ty has been having these conversations with Kiefer about, Jed's going to take Beth, Beth's going to take Jed. And so, like, the thing is, he told Jed that he was going to have those conversations. He said that he was going to use those conversations to intentionally make it seem like they weren't as together. But he hasn't really checked back in with Jed about the result of those conversations in a while. And the communication is just not always there. And so... Ty is saying things like, after they put you up on the block, Kiefer, the four died. But like Ty was super on board with that. Was he actually upset with it? I certainly didn't seem like it when he went,
oh, we couldn't we?
So I feel like at the end of the day, my read on Ty has to be that he is still just loyal to the trio, but he just doesn't like ratting people out. He doesn't like playing that game. And so what we're going to see from Ty is that he basically, he does this. When he talks to Beth, he's like, watch out for Kiefer. He's doing some things. Because he knows that Kiefer just said, hey, I'm willing to make a move. Later in the night, he's going to be like, Kiefer's not loyal, guys. We need to watch out for Kiefer. But he's not willing to drop the actual info. He's just trying to use the information that he knows to warn them Kiefer's not to be trusted. But he doesn't really play that telephone game. He never really has.
I think it's very much in line with who he's shown us to be. He's a very nice guy. And I mean that genuinely, this is not the Reddit nice guys, the fedoras, this is not that. He's like a genuinely nice guy, friendly guy. I don't think he has it in him, really. It's either that or literally he's had no reason to play like that because he's not been, he hasn't touched the block. He hasn't had to like fight that hard. So maybe that changes if something like that was to happen. But honestly, to my core, I believe he's just not built like that. He's just too nice for his own good, even.
Yeah, that's the current theory for me, at least. So she's gonna go back to Tina and Tara. And she's gonna. I'm pissed off. I can't believe you said that to me, Tina. It's not okay that I'm not gonna get credit. And Tina's like, whoa, I was trying to help you. I want you to succeed, Beth. I'm trying to tell you that you are in trouble and that you need to do something about it. Beth is like, that's not how I took it. Like you were saying that I shouldn't have any. And Tina's like, no, what I said was if you make it to the 2, you will need to have your arguments ready and prepared because the perception is this. And I'm trying to help you see that so that you are prepared in the jury questioning. And Beth is like, that's not what I heard. I heard you say that I have not gotten. Tina's like, this is what I said. She's like, oh. Well, I mean, that's fine then, if that's what you said. Yeah. I was actually streaming during this, and I likened Beth's reaction to like when a child is like screaming for candy, like I want candy, and the parents won't give them any candy, and they're like raising a fit about it, and then they get to the car, and it was like, this is why we didn't get you candy. We already had gotten you some candy to surprise you with at the car. And the kid's like, oh, okay. Candy, please.
Candy, please. That's a very good. I like that analogy. That works for me. No, this is very much what Beth's reaction was to all of this. Like, she sometimes has these moments where I feel like she just is like, I've decided I'm going to be angry about this now and just can't sway away from it until someone pretty much directly says, listen, you are making this up. This is not what it is. Relax, Beth. She relaxed.
It's just like, and you can tell like the frustration here from Beth is that she knows what this is my psychoanalysis of Beth, right? She knows what she has to do. She knows that she needs to cut the guys, but she can't do it. She can't bring herself to make that call. And because here's the thing, she said as much. She said on the feeds, I know I need to cut them. I know I need to cut them. I know I need to cut them. And then I'm not going to cut them though. And so she knows that she is making the wrong call, but she's trying to blame everyone else for it. She's trying to like it's like I'm not failing. It's everyone else that is failing. It's everyone else that doesn't see that I am actually the best person in this game. And so she has like the motivation inside of her is coming from her own failure and trying to deny that failure and pretend that it's not a failure because she's actually a great player in other areas and she actually should win without having to cut the guys.
Yeah, it gives me off a lot of that, it's the thought that counts energy of, well, I thought about it and that's got to count for something. So because you can't tell that she's not, firmly planting her flag and wanting to do this, because obviously there are ways she could go about making that happen. I feel like what I see with her is it's going to come down to the wire. Is she going to make that decision? Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't even get the chance to anymore. She doesn't get the power anymore. And then she gets to the end. She's like, well, I was going to do it. And everyone's going to reply, well, you didn't do do it. So you can't take credit for something you did not do. It's very funny, man. Just rename the BB Can 9 house to the Waffle House because everyone's waffling. No one's making decision. No one's standing firm behind them. And Beth is the head cook.
Yeah. So we're eventually going to get to the eviction. And Tina is going to be evicted by a vote of 3-1. We're then going to see Tara win the HOH. We're going to ignore all of the nonsense about next week for now. And we're going to come back. Kiefer is telling Tara, I'm with you 100%. I know I swore on my kids that I would come after you, but that was actually a lie.
Yep. I lied about it. I needed one and I did it. It was his one time, Taran. It was his one time.
She's not very happy that he lied about swearing on his kids, but he was like, I did what I had to do. I needed to do that. She's like, I don't think you needed to do that. He's like, that's what they wanted to hear. I know what people want to hear, and that's what they wanted to hear.
Kiefer giving the people what they want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He says that he thinks that they should keep Ty around this week and get rid of Jed or Beth.
Yeah.
That's the play.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this somewhere recently, but you take one out of the duos and you take one out of the trio, and that's a good recipe.
There you go. Meanwhile, Beth is talking about how, hey, whatever Tara does this week, it's gonna be my move. If Tara puts up Jed and Jed goes out, I mean, that's my move. I'm voting him out. That's my move.
This is what I was saying earlier with just taking credit where you have no agency. But I like this energy. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I like this energy of you have to try. And if you have that kind of mind and you can convincingly claim credit, because perception's 9/10 of the law in these games, in these houses. Now, do I think Beth is the best person to pilot the strategy? No, I don't think there's any world where Beth is going to convince a jury of, so yeah, that Jed, remember when Tara won and put up Jed? I voted him out though. So it was two people needed to vote. I voted him. And if I didn't vote him, nothing was going to change. And I was the one with him. No, it's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that.
Yeah. She's also going to talk to Ty. And this is when Ty's like, we can't trust Kiefer. He is not with us anymore. He is not loyal to us. Do not trust Kiefer. She's like, Ty, come on. Maybe we can. He wants to go to the Final Four with us, though. I was like, I don't think so. And it's like he's trying to warn her, but he's not telling her the actual information like 100%. So it's like, I'm not like, it's very much a half measure, and I'm not sure what the purpose is entirely. But he is also going to talk to Jed and be like, Jed, Kiefer's not loyal to us. Kiefer's not with us.
Do you feel like sometimes with Ty, if there was a way to leave anonymous parchment out with information, he would be very much about it? Because I feel like he wants to take him there, but he doesn't want his name on the bottom of that letter. He doesn't want to sign it, which is fair because like you don't want to get tangled in the mess of the house. But I don't know, because I feel like he really wants to say things, but he's keeping them to himself. He just can't get himself to do it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's part of it. That like he's worried that like he doesn't want anything to come back to Kiefer. He doesn't want like exact details of the conversation to come back. And Kiefer said this before, that like, hey, whenever I talk to Ty, nothing comes back to me. And he talked to Tina and Tara in the morning and said, we have Ty. After his conversation with Ty, he was like, we have Ty. He just agreed that he was willing to go against Jed and Beth, and they were like, he's going to put Jed and Beth up. He's like, no, but he might throw the HOH. And they were like, are you sure he's not just playing with you? And he's like, nah, I've had these talks for weeks, and it's never come back to me. He's never said a word to Jed and Beth. And so, perhaps part of that is that Ty, when he says Kiefer can't be trusted, is not actually giving the details that would allow Jed or Beth to talk to Kiefer and question him about it beyond just general suspicion. Then the bad thing is that they don't actually know just how much they can't trust Kiefer.
Yeah, it's like they know which store they made purchases at. They don't have the receipt of what was bought, and I think that is the important thing with this with Ty. As long as Ty doesn't give that information out, it cannot come back to him. And I think that this is something that someone like Kiefer does value, because in a game like this where it's constantly telephone, constantly going back and forth, having someone where at this point of the game of the final six, you might end up one of these nights sitting there to yourself thinking, literally, I have a vault in this game and his name is Ty. I can talk to Ty comfortably. That's someone I want to keep here because it's someone that I can talk to knowing that it's not going to burn me. So that's not a bad place for Ty to be. Now, ultimately, again, when we talk about this, there's also a little bit of the part to me personally where I think Ty is just a nice guy who doesn't want to play that kind of game either. So I think there's two things going on here at the same time.
Yeah, because like it for a second it might sound impressive, but then you're like, but wait, why does he need to say anything at all? Like, right. why is he ratting Kiefer out at all? And why was he so on board to take Kiefer out if Kiefer is such a valuable part of his game? And it wasn't until Jed changed his mind that Ty was like, okay, I guess now we'll keep Kiefer. You know, then there's also the fact that Kiefer is not an ally that you ever want to have, because Kiefer will also be throwing Ty under the bus later tonight and encouraging Tara to never mind, Luis should put Ty on the block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like I've been saying this from early in the game. I still maintain it now. Ty has great social capabilities in the game and exercises it and shows it in moments like this where he gets information, he kind of keeps it to himself. However, I do not think he's strategically implementing these to the way you want to do it in the game. There's no strategy behind the way he's operating with it. And it's kind of just riding the wave. And he's good at riding the wave. Obviously, he's all the way here, not on the block. Good in a good situation. Might even not be looked at depending on how you look at the HOH this week and the noms this week. But there's agency missing, a little bit of agency missing, because I think a lot of his agency, a lot of his moves are agencies from other people in the game, and he's riding with them.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely like you know, it's like Ty just needs the strategy part. Mm-hmm. He's a great social player. But I mean, he could be leaving this week, and he could have been leaving every week up until this week, if not for certain competition outcomes. So we're gonna have a conversation between Kiefer, Jed, and Ty, and they talk about how, okay, if Ty and Jed both go up on the block, then we should throw the veto to Beth. And here's why. Kiefer says, "I'm not gonna touch the block this week, guys. No way does she put me on the block." So we can all safely throw it to Beth, and then Brayden will go up, and we can send Brayden out.
There you go. Week's over. They figured it out. They've mapped the whole thing out. Easy done. What did you think of Kiefer telling them this? Do you think doesn't matter, or do you think that it was was it a bad thing to do? Because I don't know. I'm not completely convinced, but I don't know if I would come out swinging confident, like I'm not going to be on the block. Like, especially if you're telling that to people that are about to hit the block potentially, that's not great. Like, no, that's not good.
These are people who just had your life in their hands, and they spared you because you were like, please, oh my God, please. I'll do anything. I'll throw the HOH. I'll go up on the block. I'll do whatever. I swear on my kids, I'm loyal to you guys. I'll go out at 4. I'll go out at whenever. I'll go out next week if you need me to. 24 hours later. I mean, you guys are going on the block. I'm not touching the block this week, obviously. I mean, that would be a silly move for her to do. But, you know, let me, I'll start thinking up some ways that maybe we can help you guys out. Yeah. You know, maybe we can make something work.
Yeah, see, that's like villain energy. It's villain energy packaged in Kiefer, who, like, I don't think has been he's not playing a villainous role, but that definitely that kind of behavior is villainous. I do enjoy that.
It's just very like you'd usually try to be a little more subtle. But subtlety is not something that we have seen much of in this season.
No, this is not a subtle season whatsoever. And I think it's very clear with the way people talk about things out in the open, and everyone knows all the alliance names and everything in between. There's no subtlety here whatsoever.
Yeah, and he's basically said he's willing to throw the veto to Beth, which is terrible. Like Kiefer absolutely probably would go on the block if Beth won the veto. So he shouldn't throw the veto to Beth, but he just put himself in a spot where now if he doesn't throw the veto to Beth, he's already going back on his word with a word that was unnecessary to begin with, because all he needs to do is say, oh, no, I mean, obviously she'd put me up if I threw it, so I hope you guys understand, but I'm going to have to compete for the veto. But instead he's like, nah, she's not going to put me up. Come on. No chance.
Taran, it's fascinating because you've mentioned on the live feed updates this past week about how, you were like, potentially, there's a situation where Kiefer, the jury finding out that Kiefer so confidently thinks he has their vote might rub them the wrong way. He was literally telling Tina and Tara, well, if I have your votes, that's 4, I win the game. Like, usually speaking like this gets you in trouble if people don't want to vote for you. For now, it seems like it's working for him, which I can't understand whether it's because it's Kiefer it's working from. Like, they're like, that's just Kiefer. Or this is just a house that kind of energy works with.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I will be talking to Tina today. That interview will likely be posted attached to this podcast on the audio. And if you want to see the video separately, you can find that on YouTube. But I'll be asking her all about the jury philosophy that she will have. So we get a Beth and Tara interaction. And this reminded me, this is Beth's fabled social game that when she's not in power. I remember this back when Victoria won her first HOH and Beth stayed in the HOH room listening to music with Victoria for a while, and then at the end was like, oh honey, I'm so supportive of you, whatever you want to do. Oh, you want to do that? Well, I mean, I definitely support that. Have you thought about Kyle? I just want you to know that I am 100% supportive of you, Victoria, and I am with you. And she does the exact same thing with Tara here. Listens to music for a while and then is like, Tara, honey, I just want you to know that there are people that are happy for you that you won. Don't feel like nobody is happy for you. You are not alone in this house. Whenever you need to talk, I'm gonna be here for you.
So we've talked about lack of subtlety. We've talked about delusional. Is there a little condescendence in all this with Beth? Just a little bit. Do you get that vibe?
I mean, it's to Beth, everyone is below her in terms of what they've done in the game. Nobody, she is the one that in Beth's mind, she's had Brayden in her backpack pocket all season long. And apparently still has no idea how much trash he talked about her in the early portion of the season, because she's always felt like she has people way more than she actually does.
Yeah, I mean, I would do a lot of things to have that level of confidence in every action in my day-to-day life. That would go a long way for me, who streams and does stuff like this. But when it comes to this house, Beth, she needs some self-reflection, but I don't think she's gonna get that till she leaves the house. She's not gonna know.
Beth and Kiefer, they're just and the thing is, at least Kiefer does have a little bit to back it up. Like, he actually has won a few competitions. He's made some moves. He's done a lot of good work in the game. But what has Beth done other than like being forced into a Victoria backdoor with the veto win and then almost go back on it multiple times?
Yeah, literally her own worst enemy in that situation. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, again, she's been a part of a majority alliance that's just cut people out. She's been a part of this trio that's been a strong structure. But, and this is the key, but does she have enough in the arsenal to back that up? No, because again, similarly to what I spoke about with regards to Ty, the agency has been with other people in the alliance more so than it has been with her. And she just happens to be in a position where she's gassed herself up to believe, hey, I'm the queen of the castle. I am the queen of the sauce. I've got this. This is all me. And it, you can definitely see that she's doing that based on some of these conversations, based on the belief she has that she can pull off what I would argue is the dumbest thing. She literally thinks she can play this where they will end up, none of them will touch the block. Like she thinks she can pull this off.
It's happening right now, Pooya.
Oh no, she's actually doing it now.
She's the plan is in motion, Pooya.
Should we unveil the plan, or are we a little bit away from that?
So yes, so she talks to Jed about Jed is on the page of me and Ty are going up, and we need to throw the veto to you so that you can use it, and then we can get Braden up or Kiefer or whoever, it doesn't matter. And Beth is like, yeah, but what about this? I've got another plan. What if we convince Tara to backdoor you guys?
Yeah.
Backdoor. Okay. So hold on though. There's 5 people competing in the veto. Not because the HOH doesn't compete. There are 5 people in the game, not including the HOH. So everyone competes in the veto. So what's the point of a backdoor exactly?
I would like to get a petition going, not literally, no one make a petition, but I would like for there to be a kind of way where we can integrate this into the shows now, where once we're at the eviction, where after this eviction, everyone's participating in the veto, to be like, okay, by a vote of 6-1, John and the back door, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house, so that people stop saying it when it's not a thing, because it is still going to be frustrating. I know that not many people care. I know that it's most of us online that really give a damn about this, but come on, you can't boast that you're one of the best. You can't boast that you know what you're doing and then use that term when it's not a thing. Stop it.
Yeah, and it's just like it's the notion that this plan would work. That so the plan is she wants to get Braden to pitch that, like, hey, we should backdoor one of the guys, and so like the idea is that that Tara will put up 2 pawns and leave the guys off the block, and then we'll need to backdoor one of them, which would leave them open to then turning around and voting out whoever is the pawn sitting next to one of the guys if the back door goes through. And she thinks that, I guess, Tara is dumb enough to do this.
Or that she has the facilities to convince Tara to do this, or that she can spring a narrative, like put together a narrative that makes it seem like this isn't the worst decision for anyone else but herself and her crew. Like, this is what I'm talking about with regards to Beth. She can talk a big game. She can, it's the thought that counts with her. She thinks she can vote out the guy. She thinks she can do X, Y, Z. Can she implement it? No. She doesn't have that kind of capital, but she thinks she has that kind of capital. So she's like basically investing with money that doesn't exist for her. So I don't know how she thinks she's going to pull this off. It's going to be a train wreck, but we'll at least see the attempt, which I'm here for.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm all for attempts. I just like there are smarter ways she could be attempting this. This is an absurd way of attempting this.
It's the attempt that she doesn't. If we're looking for the best way to do it, obviously that's not what we're gonna get with Beth. So we're just gonna see her. Here's the thing: the key, Taran, is that you're saying there's smarter ways to do this. To her, she's doing it in the smartest way possible, and
I'm a genius,
she's gonna.
She says.
Exactly. I don't say this lightly. I don't say this lightly, and you will correct me because you are the historian on the panel. Is this the most delusion we've had in someone since Raven? Is that possible?
I mean, Kiefer is right there, to be fair.
Is it a battle between the two on who's going to have the Raven crown? Is that where we're at right now?
It's definitely, I mean, look, Raven is Raven. I mean, it's going to be
on another level.
Yeah.
Yes.
But since Raven, you know what? I think so.
It's time to find the new one. Okay. Wow. And we have two of them at the final. Like, we have two of them this far into the game. There's two of them. Again, one of them not only has 3 jurors currently locked up the vote, so they can, they can talk that talk because they kind of are in the right. But the other one is really just building stuff out of nothing.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Here's the thing though. In this season, both of them can still win.
You know what? You're not wrong there, man.
Yeah.
You are not wrong there. So yeah, it's not impossible. It's not impossible at all.
Yeah. So Kiefer's gonna talk to Tara again. He says it's already happening. They're already turning on each other. And he's like, I think Beth wants the guys out. And Tara says, well, yeah, I mean, Beth keeps saying that she's making all the decisions. Kiefer's like, and Kiefer says it's a huge resume move to take Jed out. If she takes Jed out, then maybe she'll be able to beat him in the final 2. And Tara actually does not like hearing this. She's not going to say it in the moment, but she's been saying it this morning. She's actually pretty annoyed with Kiefer, who's like, oh yeah, Tara just won back-to-back competitions. If she gets Jed out, then she's like the biggest player in the game left. And she's like, well, that's not it. That's not what I want.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Tara, you just lost your duo, right? You just lost the duo that everyone was looking at, no one's talking about Tina's name. My name is in everyone's mouth. I think if you're Tara, you think, well, I just lost Tina. I'm going to go to the back of the line. They're not going to really focus on me, and they don't really think much of me. That's a good spot. Now, obviously, she's won 2 comps, and she's won the last 2, so that's big. But what she doesn't need is people saying stuff like that, and I think she's very cognizant of stuff. Like, she does give me that energy of, you said my name, I am going to now drop everything and panic. Like, she doesn't have that cool mode of like, okay, doesn't matter, my name was said. It's the game. She doesn't have that really. So this is definitely something a player like Tara will not like. Doesn't matter who's doing it. If her name is being said, she's big mad. It gives me a little bit Sierra Easton vibes, where when Sierra's name was said, didn't matter what the hell was going on in the game. If you were her ride or die, she would get a little bit upset about it.
Mm-hmm. So this is when Kiefer's now suggesting Ty and Jed nominations, and so this is really kind of where we leave the night off here. It does seem like Ty and Jed are the likely nominations. There's been a lot going on this morning, lots of talks happening. Tara was talking to Jed, and she actually told him that she does not want him to go. He is not her target, and that's because she wants to leave him in as a huge target for other people to go after. As she's just being straight up, like, that's why I'd want you to stay. And Jed was like, I get that. It's nice to hear. But I think she is still implying to him, granted, I was not able to listen to the whole conversation, but it seemed like the implication was not that she would leave him off the block, just that she hopes that he doesn't end up leaving, which she wouldn't really have that much control over, if we're being honest. But we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Beth is currently doing her plan. Now, I will say this about Beth's plan. What I like about the plan is that she is talking to other people to get them to have the right mindset to then talk to Tara. She's like, many people make this mistake of like, I have this elaborate plan. I'm going to talk to the HOH and convince them to do it. You first need to get everybody else to the pieces on the board to be in the right position, and then let the HOH discover that those pieces are in position, and then the plan becomes much more easily pitched, or maybe they even come up with it on their own. The problem is that how is Beth going to get Brayden to like volunteer for the block, essentially? What does she think this is going to do exactly? I'm not sure, other than potentially put a massive target on her back, because I think it can only be a matter of time before Tara realizes, maybe Beth is the right person to get out, considering she is the one that has this connection to Brayden, and links the two. And so maybe if I can take Beth out, then Brayden is going after the guys, and the guys are going after, me and Brayden potentially, or something along those lines. Who knows? But I do think that we are in for a situation this week. I can probably tell you that Ty and Jet are going on the block. I could not tell you for sure which one would leave as of right now, and I could not tell you who would go up if the veto was won by either of them or by somebody else, and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think with regards to this week, I would dare say the situation is fluid, but it's not so much fluid as much as we just don't know, because I don't like Tara's not made it abundantly clear. None of the conversations have settled enough for us to figure out. I want to quickly go back to what you said about Beth and her working it, like go in the right direction of you got to build the foundation first before you go to the top. That is true. However, I do think that this could be a situation where because she's peddling so much and based on just what I've like looked at while we've been talking here, she's been everywhere this morning, which is like one of those things where if someone else is looking at it from the outside, like she's doing a lot. She has a lot more agency, a lot more movement. Maybe she ends up being her own worst enemy by making herself seem as big and important as she is, that she's the one that ends up getting the other end of this. But as far as Tara's intentions go, I genuinely do not know where I would say it's going. I also think that Ty and Jet are probably going to hit the block, because a lot of stuff that Kiefer was saying last night to Tara was, hey, I don't think Beth's heart's in this. I don't think she's going to play for that veto. I don't think she's going to want to do that. But then does that change now that she sees, like when she sees Beth all over the place? Maybe.
Yeah. And the thing about this too is that this is potentially the best case scenario for Beth. Ty and Jed go up on the block. Her hands are tied. She's not having to do it herself. The guys are just leaving, and she can't do anything about it. And just like that, Jed is gone. Maybe it's not her move like she would like it to be, but now Jed is gone, and now she has all she needs to do is take out Kiefer, bring Ty to the end, or whatever it is she would like to do, and she's a great shot at winning this game. But she is running around trying to make like these weird plans happen, and putting herself in the line of fire this week. If Beth leaves this week, it is entirely her fault. And she snatches defeat from the jaws of victory.
That's a great way to put it. Now, honestly, it is true, because I do think that, if you're in a situation where you have allies that will beat you, and then you don't take them out and someone else does it for you, that is a good spot to be in. And then at the end, you can always make the argument of, well, I would have done it, but it got done before I got power. That's fine. I think you can spin the narrative to work. But her problem is she can't decide what she wants to do, and she can't decide how to go about it. I think that she really has zeroed in on this fact of there are a finite number of big moves, and I didn't get to do any of the ones yet. I need to claim this one. I have to claim this one. So now I need to go out of my way to make everyone know that I'm the one that's putting in all the work to make this happen. And the big move isn't necessarily getting rid of one of her own at this point. Her thing is like something. She wants some kind of wave to happen that is, like the Beth tsunami, like the Beth earthquake, whatever the Beth natural disaster is. Little does she know, this is going to inflict more harm to her game than benefit her at the final two when she's talking. Because this is like she shot out of a cannon with no direction to go to.
Yeah. So that's where we're at here. Pooya, anything else you wanted to bring up?
From the feeds? No. I'm excited. Actually, you know what? I'm excited, but let's rewind back. I want to talk to you about your favorite twist, this twist.
Why do you have to bring the mood down like this?
I mean, I don't mean to be a downer, but it's got implications.
No.
Why do you have to do that? I don't like that line. You know I don't like that veto speech. You have to bring it back. No, Taran. So here's the thing, right? Here's the honest truth. So just to reset this twist, basically someone's leaving Thursday and then someone else is leaving right after them on Thursday. Those two people have a competition. One of them comes back, right? So I would assume, because of the fact that this is going to be a competition that they're adding like a battle back, they're going to want it to be bigger with a little bit pizzazz. So I assume it's going to be a more physical type of competition. Would you co-sign this?
Well, I hope it's not.
What are you hoping for, Taran?
I'm hoping it's not physical, because then it's just an automatic free pass for Jet or Ty.
Which I'm not gonna lie to you, that's what's gonna happen. I think it's a revolving door for them, and unless both of them go out, both of them will be there come Thursday, Friday, whenever this competition happens. Now my question to you is, if you were in the house and you knew this was coming, what is your move? Are you literally put up the two guys and bank on one of them leaving, and then you bank on getting the second one out in the double, right?
If I know it's coming, then yeah, I mean, it becomes even more obvious that you have to now get both of the guys out in order to have one come right back in and take you out. You're the fact of the matter is that okay, I'm just screwed.
Yeah. I think it's going to end up being, it's either a physical or an indoors. Basically, it's got to be something with more of a production to it, like visually. And that's not going to be cue cards and questions, A and Bs. I genuinely don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong. You never know with these things. But that kind of takes the wind out of the sails a little bit again, obviously, because here's the thing. You know this. Everyone else is not. I'm not been the biggest fan of Tara. Tara's not my cup of tea, but I recognize her winning this. It adds a ripple to the game. It's fun. We're going to see some people doing the most because Beth has never really been in this bad of a position before. So she's doing all these things and shaking the table. So it's exciting. But then if all of it was for naught, it's like you really gave us a week that was exciting that didn't matter. So
yeah. It's no good.
No bueno. Yeah. And if you want to know how we really feel about this, again, hashtag BBCan9, top result, Taran's face. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we have here for you today. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother Canada 9 live feeds. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot. Considering that I could probably do an entire update based on what's happened so far today. And we're just going to have to see where things go from here. It has been nonstop game talk on the feeds, on both feeds since I woke up. So there's a lot going on. We'll see what happens. A lot to look forward to. Of course, there will be more episode recaps coming your way on Monday. And then the roundtable on Tuesday, and circle coverage as well. We've got episode 3, the recap for episode 3 of the circle dropped today, and then tomorrow night we will be live with a roundtable to talk about the week of circleness that went down this week. It's been a fun show so far, so make sure you check that out. You can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong, if you want to watch my hopes and dreams come crashing down in one terrible instant.
It's a sad way to end. So I'll put a positive spin on. You can find me on Twitch as well. I will be playing Among Us with Taran and the crew on Sunday, 5 Eastern. I will be live tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern. I have taken over the RHAP Instagram for the day. So at RHAP Grams, come through, leave a question. I'll definitely answer it. And me and Liana just wrapped up the last wildcard episode of The Masked Singer before the Super 8. It was a very, very fun one. If you know what we talk about when we say 98 degrees, you will enjoy this podcast, guaranteed. And of course, I will be talking with Taran and Rob tomorrow on the Circle Roundtable to talk about the first 4 episodes, which I've not watched yet. So I'm going to watch them today. That's kind of my date. I'm going to watch them today and listen to the podcast. I'm very excited. And then we'll see what the hell's going on with these feeds this weekend. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
All right. Okay. Well, that's what we have for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I will see all of you next time.